Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaladhari Jana Vallabha Givaladhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanajari Jaya Radha Madhava Ki Jai. Short the translation of Jaya Radha Madhava, because it's a very nice song and very loved by Srila Prabhupada. Krishna is a lover of Radha. He displays many amorous pastimes in the groves of Vrindavana. He is a lover of the cowherd maidens of Raja, the holder of the great hill named Govardhan, the beloved son of Mother Yashoda, the delighter of the inhabitants of Raja, and he wanders in the forest along the banks of the river Yamuna. Jai Radha Madhava. First question, who doesn't speak German? Okay. Mataji, you speak German? Okay, wer spricht kein Englisch? Okay. Würdest du von Englisch ins Deutsche? Oder? Ja, because er spricht halt nur kein Englisch, aber wir haben 3 Leute, die kein Deutsch sprechen. Ja, ist so sehr. Ja, das wird nicht passen. Jai, vielen Dank. 14:18. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we're reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Chapter 14, it's called The Three Modes of Material Nature, and verse 18. Ich nehme das Tablet. Da haben wir es. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastaha madhye tishtanti rajasaha Jnana guna vittistaha ato gachanti tamasaha urdhvam gachanti sattvasta madhye tishtanti rajasaha Jnana guna vittistaha Ato gachanti tamasaha Urdhvam gachanti sattvasta Madhye tishtanti rajasaha Jnana guna vittista Ato gachanti tamasaha. Okay, Prabhus. Urdhvam gachanti sattvasta Madhye tishtanti rajasaha Jnana Guna Vidista Ado Gachanti Tamasaha Udvama Ganti Statvasta Madhete Shtanti Rajasaha Jnana Guna Vidista Ado Gachanti Tamasaha Udvam Gachanti Statvasta Madhete Shtanti Rajasaha Jnana Guna Vidista Ado Gachanti Tamasaha Mataji's Udvam Gachanti Statvasta Madhye Gachanti Rajasaha Jnana Guna Vidista Ado Gachanti Tamasaha Kama Chanti Statvasta Madhye Gachanti Rajasaha Jnana Guna Vidista Ado Gachanti Tamasaha Urdhvam Upwards Gachanti Go Sattvasta Those situated in the mode of goodness. Madhye in the middle. Tishtanti dwell. Rajasaha those situated in the mode of passion. Jnana of abominable. Guna quality. Mrittistaha whose occupation. Ata down. Gachanti go. Tamasaha person in the mode of ignorance. Translation. Those is situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the verse, the results of action in the three moods of nature are more explicitly set forth. There is an upper planetary system consisting of the heavenly planets, where everyone is highly elevated. According to the degree of development of the mood of goodness, the living entity can be transferred to various planets in the system. The highest planets is Satyaloka or Brahmaloka, where the prime person of the universe, Lord Brahma, resides. We have also seen already that we can hardly calculate the wondrous condition of life in Brahmaloka. But the highest condition of life, the mode of goodness, can bring us to this. The mode of passion is mixed. It is in the middle between the modes of goodness and ignorance. A person is not always pure, but even if he should be purely in the mode of passion, he will simply remain on this earth as a king or rich man. But because there are mixtures, one can also go down. People on this earth in the mode of passion or ignorance cannot forcibly approach the higher planets by machine. In the mode of passion, there's also the chance of becoming mad in the next life. The lowest quality, the mode of ignorance, is described here as abominable. The result of developing ignorance is very, very risky. It is the lowest quality in material nature. Beneath the human level, there are 8 million species of life: birds, beasts, reptiles, trees, etc. And according to the development of the modes of ignorance, people are brought down to these abominable conditions. And the word tamasa is very significant. Tamasa indicates those who stay continuously in the mode of ignorance without rising to a higher mode. Their future is very dark. There is an opportunity for men in the moods of ignorance and passion to be elevated to the mood of goodness, and that system is called, what is the system called? Yeah, very nice. It's called Krishna consciousness. But one who does not take advantage of this opportunity will certainly continue in the lower modes. I know that we don't want to continue in the lower modes. Okay, let me just start shortly my tablet. Wenn ich zu schnell spreche, musst du nur sagen, wegen Übersetzen. Dann ist es einfacher. Omekana Tirandasya, Tanandela Chalakshaya, Chakshutridamya, Tasmashi Guruve Namaha, Chichetanya Manobistam, Stapiten Dina Buddhani, Swayam Rupa Kalamayam, Tatikam, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Rupada Kalamam, Shri Gurun Vaisnavasha Ripasukamagunam. Raghunatha Vedanta Jam Jivam Savatvitam Svanam Prajam Statim Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Letta Shri Shankaram Chacham. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bankanatati Gopisha Gopikanta Radha Kanta Mustade Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Initially Vishnu Balasaduri Pranami Vansha Kalparupisha Kripa Sindhu Paivacha Patitanam Pavyo Vaishnaveva Namo Namah. Hey Krishna. Hi Krishna dear devotees, good evening, very nice that you are here to the Bhagavad Gita class in Samhachalandam Ki Jai. Here it's very interesting how Prabhupada is starting to describe the three material moods of the nature, and he's starting with the mood of, I have to switch from German to English. Was vertunkt in English? He's starting with the mood of goodness. So somebody still remember what is qualities of the mood of goodness? We had it in the previous chapters. Yes, Sumal?
Sense of knowledge and pride.
Yes, and what is the disadvantage if you have the mood of goodness?
You might continue into your world because you like it.
Yes, but Prabhupada describing it in the 14th chapter, verse 6. Prabhupada described it in the translation. The difficulty for a living being in the mood of goodness is this, that he is thinking he is advanced in knowledge and he is better than somebody else because he is more advanced in knowledge. Like the scientists and philosophers. So that's very interesting. Even if we are in the mode of goodness, it's still a material quality in the end. And we still struggle, and we can also fall down on the mood of goodness. So that's very interesting. And then he's also describing that basically the demigods on the higher planetary system, they're in the mood of goodness. For example, on the moon, you can live 10,000 years, enjoy your life very much. You can go even to Brahmaloka for, I don't know, trillions of years. Somebody knows the exact number, I don't have it in the head. But you can live very, very long. But still, you have to give up the body at the end of the life, like Brahma. He's also have to give up the body, so what can we do? And then interesting that Prabhupada is then describing the second mode, the mode of passion. And he's saying the mode of passion is mixed. It can be mixed with ignorance, or it can be mixed in goodness. And if you see it like this, here on earth, basically many people are in passion because we are in the middle. Everything can be mixed, and it's interesting that Prabhupada is also saying here, a person is not always pure, so that basically means even if we are in goodness, we are not always in goodness because still the other moods are mixing in our goodness, if we are in goodness. That's something else. So somebody still remembers some characteristics of passion? Yes?
Attachment.
Yes?
Attachment, uncontrollable desire.
Yes. And what else?
Intense endeavor.
Intense endeavor, very nice. So, and if we put this in conception to Vran Ashtam system, the Brahmana should be a mode of goodness, the Kshatriya and Vaishya should be a mode of passion, because they want to protect, they want to have things, also Prabhupada described in the purport. You want to satisfy your senses. What you need for satisfying your senses in the material world nowadays? Oh, like this? It's better? Okay. To satisfy your senses in the material world, you need what?
Money.
You need money. What do you have to do for money? You have to go work like a donkey, very hard, whole day, whole night. And then you get money, you can enjoy your senses, but money is finished, sense enjoyment is finished, you have to go again working. Very hard. And even if you have a lot of money, you're still not happy, because you are fearing your money will go away or somebody will steal your money. So what you try to make more money, because the more money you have, then it doesn't matter if somebody takes something, because you still have enough. And then the last part, it's going about the lowest quality, the mode of ignorance. Somebody still remembering some qualities, or not qualities, some characteristics of the mode of ignorance? Yes? Shri Plat Nakshina Simadev Ki Jai. Wir können es auch in Deutschland, kein Problem. You're always very lazy, you sleep a lot, and you are mad, or you can get mad. And Prabhupada describing in the verse, in the purport later, and in translation, that if you sleep 10 to 12 hours, you're on the mode of ignorance. So it's easily to check how long you sleep. So you can see if you're on the mode of ignorance or not. And you can also see in the mode of ignorance, mostly, or quite some people are addicted to drugs, alcohol, and other stuff. I mean, I know it for myself when I was taking drugs. I was sleeping the whole day, you don't want to do anything, just chill and have your peace. Everybody is just disturbing you and you do nothing the whole day basically. And you also can see it on the street, especially the Sankirtan devotees, when they see beggars on the street or people who are sitting at the train station and begging for money, just drinking the whole day alcohol. You can see it already on their how they look, how they deal with each other, that they are totally in the mood of ignorance. I mean, maybe Subal can sing some songs about this on Sankirtan. I also thought, we were once with my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Kadamakanda Swami, on King's Day in Amsterdam, and one beggar was lying on the street and the devotees were passing him, and I was observing it a little bit, and you could see the devotees wanted to give him just some prasadam, but he was covering his eyes like the sun was shining, and it was too much for him. He was crawling away in some corner and in the darkness, and then he was happy again, peace finally. So you can see how we get influenced by the moods of material nature. And it's also very interesting, to our association to the different moods of a material nature, we development different qualities and characteristics. I mean, I remember still, sorry Gopal, you are now my example, I remember when he came from Cologne to Simhachalam, he wanted to sleep the whole day and doesn't get up and do nothing. And now he's such a nice devotee and enthusiastic and doing nice seva. And thus brings us to the last part, where, as Prabhupada is saying, I just repeat it, there's an opportunity for man in the mood of ignorance and passion to be elevated to the mood of goodness. And that system is called Krishna consciousness. But one who does not take advantage of this opportunity will certainly continue in the lower moods. So it's very nice for Prabhupada basically systematic describes the three different moods, the highest, the middle, the lowest, and in the end he gives a solution for all three. Just become Krishna consciousness, become a devotee of the Lord, and then automatically everything will be resolved. Because to our association with the devotees, when we're serving them, when we're following them, when we're chanting and following the four regulated principles, we become automatically purified. I mean, it's worked in my case, it's worked in Subhal's case, I think it's worked also for the most other. The more association you have, I mean, the best thing is you live in the temple, so you can go to morning program, evening program, all the lectures, and you chant and do seva, then you are always protected. Because otherwise, at least that's my experience, when you live outside, you have to go working, you have to deal with material people, and it's not easy to always pull the mind back to Krishna and remembering Krishna. It's very difficult. For this, it's very nice if you can live for some years in the temple as brahmachari. So you get a very nice training and your mind is very focused on the spiritual path. Because in the end, I mean, it would be very nice if everybody can live as a brahmachari for the men's, but it's not for everybody possible. For this reason, certain training is required. So if you switch your ashram later to Gehasta, you have a stable foundation where you can continue your spiritual life. And it's also very important, it's not mentioned here, but it's well known that you find a bona fide spiritual master who can guide you to all your difficulties, what you have, all your doubts, what may come up with the time, because the mind always finds something what he doesn't like and would like to complain about. So for this we need a spiritual master or guidance of senior devotees. I mean, in London they have a very nice system. I mean, you know it's a mentorship system where you have senior advanced devotees who always guide you, always give you advices how you can do things better, because sometimes it's not so easy to reflect yourself, because mostly, I mean, at least I have a strong ego who doesn't like to see the not so good sides. So that's the reason why it's always good to have somebody who can guide you in Krishna consciousness, because they have a different perspective, how you're dealing with others, how you're dealing with things. So they can, I mean, the point is you also, you need to accept it if somebody is telling here what you're doing now is complete nonsense. You should do it like this and this, because normally our ego doesn't like it if somebody is coming and telling, oh, you're doing this not good, then what you want from me, etc. So that's mostly our ego what is in the way. Like Prabhupada said in this famous lecture where the devotee were asking him how long it takes to become Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada said 1 second like this, no problem, very easy. But mostly the question is how much we want to surrender to Krishna, how much effort we want to put in, and how much we still holding back. But this is a very individual thing, and this everybody has to ask himself how much he really wants to surrender to Krishna and how much he still wants to enjoy the material world or other things. But even so, it's not a problem, we just stick to the process. of chanting Hare Krishna, following the regulated principles. And once you take the step to Krishna, Krishna takes 1,000 steps to you. And even if you stop the process, he's forcing you to continue. That's a nice thing on Krishna consciousness. Even if you don't like it anymore and you turn away from Krishna, he'll arrange things that you continue, even if you don't like it. I have this experience personally, where I then was going back, okay, I do some nonsense, smoke some ganjas, enjoy my spiritual life. And Krishna arranged things, lost my job, lost my girlfriend, lost my flat. So what do? You're just wandering in the streets, and what do you meet? You meet the devotees. They invite you to the temple, and then you can see Krishna's hand in it. So Krishna always brings you back to Krishna. That's the nice things. Yeah, that's basically all I want to say, what was coming to my mind, what I was meditating about it. Some questions, comments? Ja. Kannst in Deutsch, kein Problem.
Okay, dann kannst du es vielleicht auf Englisch dann wiederholen.
Ja.
Ja, hast du vielleicht einen Tipp? Ich frage mich halt manchmal, wie kann ich mich mehr hingeben? Und jetzt im Moment sehe ich, wie das vielleicht ginge, aber ich kann das nicht. Das liegt also zum Beispiel
his question was if I have a tip to surrender more, because at the moment he see how he can surrender more, but he doesn't want to surrender more.
Yeah, I feel, but I want, but it seems to me that I can't, because I'm somehow, for example, the food is now, there's the time when I'm coming home here, then I can read, but even though I'm not hungry, I'm taking prasadam.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, Brahmananda was asking Prabhupada once if it's okay if he's dying from prasadam, and Prabhupada said, yeah, no problem. It's spiritual. It's just an example, because in the end, prasadam is not different from Krishna, because Krishna directly accepts prasadam. So if you're coming back from school and you're not hungry, but you still want to eat prasadam, then eat prasadam. What's the problem? If there's some prasadam left, so that's the other question. Kleinen Moment, Sanjay. Hat das deine Frage? But the point is also, you will never find out if you can surrender more if you don't try it. I mean, what you have to lose in the end? You have to lose nothing, I mean. Because anyway, when you join the temple, you give up fame, you give up money, you give up everything, then what you have to lose? And if you don't try, you will never know.
So your advice is to just, when I see how to surrender more, then I just try it.
Yeah, just do it.
Okay.
You will see, it will work. I mean, I'll just give the example what I experienced. I was traveling for some time with the butcher with his bus, and I was reading in the Bhagavad Gita, the last chapter, where Krishna is saying, just surrender unto me, give up everything else, I will take care of you. And I was thinking, okay, Krishna, let's test it. So I was going out of my job, giving up my flat, everything, and joined the butcher for the bus for 6 months and see, okay, Krishna, you say it in the Bhagavad Gita, let's test you, what will happen. And in the end, it's worked out. You always have something to eat, you have nice Haridam today, you see a lot of cities, a lot of other countries, meet a lot of other nice devotees. I mean, and also that's the point of simple living, high thinking. I mean, what you need something to sleep, a roof over your head, and something to eat. What else you need? I mean, you were in India once? So if you go to India and see how, for example, the people in Vrindavan or Govardhan village are living, Yeah, just living super simple. I mean, what you have upstairs in the ashram is like a 4-star hotel for them. Yeah, because they just have a small bed and that's it. Something to eat. I mean, Subal can also say he was in Govardhan and Vrindavan. They are really simple living. What we have is, I mean, we complaining, oh no, once we have cold water for shower, oh no, the water is going down. Or once our heating system is not working, oh no, or the Wi-Fi is not working. Or in Vrindavan you sometimes don't have electricity. I mean, what can you do? So in the end, it's just our mind who always wants things and like to complain about different things. And in the end, yeah, go to India, you see how simple living is. Yes, Sanjay?
Can you speak something about developing? I started hearing your lecture from downstairs.
Oh, okay.
Can you tell about development of faith in relationships with seniors?
I mean, that's a very nice question. How can we develop faith in our relationship with seniors and also with Krishna? And mostly is it to experience, because in our material life we get so much cheated, and at one point we don't start to trust other people because we have a lot of bad experience. And yeah, my advice is just, I mean, I also know it from my past that I don't trust so easily the people. I first watching what they're doing. If they say something or do something different, it's always a little bit difficult for me. But at one point I also learned, even if they don't follow always what they are doing, we all on our path and our process, nobody is perfect. And if you just trust other devotees and we trust Krishna, then everything will be fine. Because mostly in the end, our anxiety and fear is coming because we don't trust Krishna. We still want to be in control. We still want to be the controller and do the things like we want. But once you start to surrender to Guru and to Krishna, everything will be automatically solved. That's at least my experience, Sanjay. Because mostly we have our mindset in our head, how the things should working, how the things should do, how other people should react to our actions, and etc. And if they don't do it and they're telling us things that we don't like, we start to reject other persons and we start to distrust them. I mean, it's good if we have a little bit doubts what people are doing and always reflecting what they're doing so we don't get cheated. Yeah, cheated and be cheated in the world like wolves and sheeps. So we should also use our intelligence and not follow blindly. I mean, that's Maharaj doesn't want from us that we follow blindly, that we use our intelligence. But that doesn't mean that we should not trust the devotees, and because, I mean, that's my experience, what I have. If we start to distrust the devotees and see the faults what the devotees may have, because we're still in the material world, we're still not pure devotees, we're automatically starting to make offenses against the devotees, and then Krishna doesn't like it at all, and we will get consequences for it in the end. In the end, it's all a mindset, what we have. I hope this somehow other was answering question a little bit. Yeah, because I trust Krishna. Hey, we have Krishna. What should happen? I mean, we're anyway not this body, so who cares? Our spiritual soul, we're not the material body. So, I mean, that's also a very important part of spiritual life for us, that we first understand theoretically that we are not this body, but then we have to also understand practically that we are not this body, I mean, that's already a super high level. I'm still not there. I mean, imagine what it really would understand. We are not this material body, we are spiritual soul. Then you are like Prabhupada, you don't have fear for nothing because you know Krishna will protect you, Krishna will be there. And even if something happens, who cares, I'm not this body. What should happen? Then even if you give up the body, then... I mean, in the end, what is our biggest fear? To die. Why we have this fear? Because we don't understand we are not this body. Oh, that's the whole point. Yeah. Mataji wanted to ask a question, Sanjay. Okay. Yes. Maybe, but it's a very high elevated state that we really understand that we are not this body on a practical platform, because normally as soon we get sick or we hurt ourselves and we think, oh, no, etc. So then imagine losing a finger or something and then you're still lamenting, but I mean, for what you're lamenting in the end. But it's a super high platform. For this we have our path in Krishna consciousness, because in the end it's a science. We do a process, and for the process we get a certain result in the end, and from which we can see it's really working, because if we would see it would not working, we would not sit here. People would not move in the temple, because they can see, hey, I'm happy here. I was doing other stuff outside, was making me not so happy, but as soon I'm in this association of the devotees, following the principles, chanting my rounds, following the instruction of my guru, you become automatically happy, because Krishna is sitting in the heart. When Krishna is happy, you are happy. So, simple thing.
Thank you.
No problem. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the nice, inspiring lecture. Now, this topic of fault finding came up a few times, and you also said that by the guidance of senior devotees and the spiritual master, we can get rid of this tendency. Maybe you can give more, maybe a little bit elaborate on this, or give more advice how to get free of this fault finding.
Yeah, you need to be humble. If you're not humble, your mind will always start to find faults in other person. I also had my experience in Simachalam. At one point I was not so happy anymore and not very humble, so I started to find faults. What happened? Narasimha was saying, okay, goodbye, Krishna Charana, see you. So I started to do other things. I mean, if you ask senior devotees, I asked him once a Prabhupada disciple what his success was to stay so long in the movement. And he was saying, that's very simple. Don't make offense and find faults in other devotees. But unfortunately, we have this tendency, because our mind is thinking he knows everything, I'm superior to everyone. So automatically we start to see from up, or try to bring people down to our level. And then you're automatically starting to see faults and find faults in other people, because then you feel superior to the other person. But like I say, if you follow the principle and the process and really try to practice to be humble, then automatically with time it will go automatically away. Just go on Sankirtan, then you automatically become humble, if you like it or not. The people will make you humble. Because I know it from my that's why someone Sankirtan, when I was feeling super puffed up, yeah, I can do it. Somebody were coming and look at me and then say something, automatically over. So that's the best thing, go on Sankirtan, distributing books, doing Harinam, and you get automatically humble. Because otherwise you cannot do it for years. At least that's my experience, and that's you hear it every year for the book distribution seminar. Be humble, then you can do Sankirtan for your whole life. And Prabhupada promised, if you do Sankirtan your whole life, you go back to Krishna this life. So, but it's an effort. We have to do an effort for it. It's not coming like, okay, I go every day out on the street. It will be difficult. And also the point is, you really want to be humble, or you're just saying you don't want to be humble. Because if you really want to be humble, you have to show it. How you can show it? You have to prove it to effort. That at least my experience. Maybe because we can talk a lot the whole day, but if you don't prove it to action, then what's the use of your words? Hi Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
I just wanted to ask what is this concept of being humble?
That's a very good question.
I really don't know. If there's a limit to it, or where does it even start? What exactly, or where exactly, in which situation? It's a broad topic.
The simplest thing is, if the Shastakam Trinata piece to Nichana, can you help me? Yeah. Bihamla in the straw in the street, Tolerance in the tree, and what was the third thing? I forgot it. Yeah, because that's basically the principles of being humble. Because if you reflect about it, what is more humble than the straw in the street where everybody is going over it, every car is going over it, the dog peeing on it and makes a big business on it. Even a tree is just standing there, people are going and with knives are cutting something, carving in the wood. Animals making the business on the tree and everything, and he's tolerating, he doesn't lament about it. I know what you mean, but I cannot really tell you because I'm also not very humble, so what can I say? For this, we need the guidance of the senior devotees, of the spiritual master, because they have more experience than we have, and they give you instruction, and they mostly give you the instruction that you become humble. Because if you don't become humble, spiritual life will be very difficult.
No, that's true, because I've heard this a lot of times in a lot of lectures.
Yes.
But one thing what you told now makes a lot of sense about the street. It's true, but then out in the world, if we try to be the street, there's a possibility that the person ends up becoming, really sad.
But the point is we should not go around without using our head.
There's a limit, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's but true.
Yes, and in the end, if we stick to the devotees and have the association of the devotees, who cares about the outside world? The devotees are always nice, and to some extent, if you have a family and we have to go working, we have to deal to some extent with the outside world. You cannot avoid it in the end. But just for me, I can give when I go working, this time I spend with them, but when I'm coming home, that's out, forgotten, no problem. And it's also a very nice reminder how much the people suffer outside and how much lucky we are to have Krishna consciousness. Because you can see they're lamenting about so many things, and you're just chanting a 16 rounds, take some prasad, read, listen to a nice
Stay
lecture.
in the temple.
Yeah, and then all problems are gone basically.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yeah. No problem. My Mara and Gurudev was saying once, Krishna also make you humble over the time, because when you are old, you become automatically humble. Because nothing works anymore, the body is going down, you cannot do this, and for what you want to be quite proud of. Krishna makes you time. Krishna is time, so he makes you humble also with time. But you can also become humble now, so you save the other part. Yes. Yes?
I just wanted to read a nice quote from Srila Prabhupada about
Yes.
being humble. It's being told by Arivilas Das. He asked Srila Prabhupada, what does it mean to be humble? And his answer was really incredible. He said, humility means that you are convinced beyond any doubt that there is nothing in this world, absolutely nothing in this world, not your money, not your family, not your fame, not your gun, not your education, nothing that will save you except the mercy of Krishna. When you are convinced like this, then you are humble.
So that we can test ourselves how much we are convinced are. Yes. Because like I said before, that's the question, how much we want to surrender to Krishna and how much we want to do our own thing. But the question should ask everybody himself and reflect on it. I mean, that's also good, that we have the association of the devotees, that we have the lectures, and these topics are coming up and we can discuss together, everybody can share his realizations about it, and everybody can take something home. I mean, that's also why it's so important not just read the books from Prabhupada, we also should hear the lectures of Prabhupada. Because mostly, that's my experience, if we have doubts, if we have questions in our head, and may not have the possibility to have so much association with the devotees, if we listen to the lectures of Prabhupada, in 90% your doubts get cleared in the lecture. That's at least my experience, what I have. Okay, somebody else? Yeah.
There's no question, no? But please, Mataji, maybe you can send this in the Simhachalam group. Thank you.
Okay, then Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vansha Kalpatarupesha Kripa Sindhubhai Vacha Patittanam Prabhano Vaishnavi Namo Namaha Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai, Jai Gurudev. Krishna Padaya Krishna Shtapati